Major Nziogwu, can you please give me an account of the night of the coup in Kaduna?
Well, it's rather something like the longest day. We started this off on the night of the 13th of January when a night exercise was planned by the military college, which I command. We took out troops to the ground and taught them how to do night attacks. We didn't tell them what we were planning for, but at the end of the exercise, we took them out and showed them various places where they were to stand.
The 1966 Nigerian coup began on January 15, 1966, when rebel soldiers led by Kaduna Eziogwu assassinated 11 senior Nigerian politicians and 2 soldiers, as well as kidnapping 3 others. The coup plotters attacked the city of Kaduna, Ibadan, and Lagos while also blockading the Niger and Benue River within a 2-day span of time. Before the coup plotters were able to take control of Nigeria, a senior Nigerian general, Johnson Agoye Ironsi, was able to make the coup plotters flee to Kaduna. Although the government was able to drive the coup plotters away, they succeeded in installing a head of state from the eastern region. The coup was the spark that erupted into the Nigerian Civil War. In August 1965, 5 Igbo majors were beginning to plot a coup against incumbent Prime Minister Abubakar Balewa. The coup was planned because the majors were dissatisfied with the government's action and that most Nigerian politicians were of Hausa or Fulani descent. In a memo written by coup plotters, Adewale Ademoyega, he wrote, "Our enemies are the political profiteers, the swindlers, the men in high and low places that seek bribes and demand 10%, those that seek to keep the country divided permanently so that they can remain in office as ministers or VIPs." The coup plotters had 5 goals to achieve: to strike simultaneously in regional capitals, arrest leading politicians, kill any who resist, avoid reprisals, kill all senior army officers, prevent troops movement, block Niger and Benue, and form a new government. They planned to strike right before the Commonwealth Conference so that Balewa would be distracted from any suspicious army movement. In the weeks leading up to the coup, Major Kaduna Eziogwu carried out a reconnaissance on Ahmadu Bello's mansion in Kaduna. Eziogwu often took his men on a nighttime training exercise known as Exercise Damisa, which was in actuality a practice run for a military coup. The commander of the 2nd Brigade, Brigadier Samuel Ademulegun, became irritated with the nighttime exercises and reprimanded Eziogwu in a telephone call to keep exercises a safe distance from Bello's mansion. Although Ademulegun complained about the commotion, he had no idea of the exercises' true purpose. Eziogwu's control over his troops was so little that he had to conscript young soldiers from the Nigerian Military Training College at Kaduna. In the early hours of January 15, 1966, Eziogwu decided to turn Exercise Damisa into a full-blown military coup. Eziogwu led his men to a bush adjacent to the mansion gate and informed them of their real mission. Eziogwu and his men blew up the mansion gate and conducted a search of the residence, hunting for Bello. After losing his temper at his initial failure to locate him, Eziogwu found him hiding with his wife. Bello was shot along with one of his wives, who tried to shield him with her body. Bello's faithful bodyguard came to defend him with a bow and arrows, but was also shot. Eziogwu's co-conspirator, Major Timothy Nwatuegwu, personally led a detachment to Ademulegun's house. Nwatuegwu made his way to the brigadier's room, where he was laying beside his wife. Upon seeing Nwatuegwu enter the room, Ademulegun shouted at him, "Timothy, what the devil do you think you are doing?" Nwatuegwu told Ademulegun that he was under arrest. Ademulegun reached for a drawer beside his bed, and as he did so, Nwatuegwu shot him dead in his bed, along with Ademulegun's wife, who was laying beside him. The head of the NMTC, Colonel Shodeyinde, was killed, but the manner of his death is unclear. His wife testified that he was shot by several soldiers that included Major Eziogwu and Major Nwatuegwu. Other accounts claim that a grenade was tossed at him. It is not clear if Eziogwu was involved with Shodeyinde's death, since presumably he was preoccupied at the time with killing Ahmadu Bello. Most accounts place responsibility for Shodainde's murder with Nwaatuegwu, the same Nwaatuegwu who shot both Shodainde and Ademulegun along with his wife, kidnapped but did not harm the governor of the northern region, Kashim Ibrahim. When released, Ibrahim vouched that he had been treated with the utmost respect by the men who kidnapped him. The commander of the 2nd Risk Squadron in Kaduna, Hassan Katsina, was not armed during the coup. Shortly before the coup started, Katsina bumped into Eziokwu. It is speculated that the conversation between the two men may have saved Katsina's life, as Eziokwu's familiarity with Katsina's family may have led him to exclude Katsina from the coup out of empathy. When the two men met again shortly after the coup, Eziokwu asked him directly, "Are you with us or against us?" Saying that Eziokwu was holding a gun, Katsina wisely replied, "You know I'm with you." At around 2 a.m., Major Emmanuel Ifeajuna and some lieutenants from the 2nd Brigade headquarters made their way to Prime Minister Abubakar Balewa's residence. They overpowered but did not kill the police officers standing guard there. Ifeajuna then kicked down the door of the Prime Minister's bedroom before leading him out at gunpoint. Elsewhere in Lagos, Major Don Okafor attempted to arrest Brigadier Zakaria Maimalari, but he managed to escape by jumping over a wall behind his house. As he was escaping on foot, he came across the car of his brigade major, Emmanuel Ifeajuna. Maimalari recognized Ifeajuna and had no idea that he was part of the coup plot. Erroneously believing that Ifeajuna could be trusted, Maimalari waved down the car and was promptly shot by Ifeajuna. The commanding officer of the Ibadan-based 4th Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Abogo Lagema, was a guest at the Ikoyi Hotel on the night of the coup. Ifeajuna arrived at the hotel and forced the desk clerk at gunpoint to inform Lagema that he had a phone call. When Lagema emerged from his room, Ifeajuna and a subaltern emerged from their hiding place in a corridor and shot Lagema dead. The Army's GOC, Johnson Agunyi Ironsi, was tipped off about the coup by a telephone call from Lieutenant Colonel James Pam. Shortly after ending his telephone call with Ironsi, Pam was abducted from his house and shot dead by Major Chris Anuforo. The only Igbo to die in the coup, Lieutenant Colonel Otto Unegbe, was shot by Anuforo because he was known to be close to Brigadier Maimalari and had to be silenced in order to avoid him from raising the alarm. Balewa, Colonel Ko Mohammed, and Minister of Finance Festus Okotie Ebo were initially kidnapped but were later killed. In Ibadan, the Premier of the Western region, Chief Samuel Akintola, had been forewarned that soldiers were coming to get him. Akintola heard rumors of a coup and traveled to Kaduna to warn the Premier of the Northern region, Amadu Bello. After failing to raise any urgency in Bello, Akintola returned to Ibadan and armed himself with a rifle. His deputy, Chief Fani Kayode, was first arrested by the coupists. After his arrest, Kayode's wife informed Akintola of what had happened. Shortly afterward, a detachment of soldiers led by Captain Emmanuel Nwombosi arrived at Akintola's residence. Upon sighting the soldiers, Akintola opened fire, wounded a few of them including Captain Nwombosi. After fighting for his life and engaging the soldiers in a gunfight, Akintola was shot dead by Nwombosi's men. The commotion caused by the murders of other officers alerted Ironsi to the coup and was able to rally troops who helped him put down the coup. On his way to commence moves to crush the coup, Ironsi encountered a checkpoint made by junior officers involved in the coup. Ironsi simply stepped out of his vehicle and roared, "Get out of my way," an order which they promptly obeyed before continuing his journey. When it became obvious the coup was not going to succeed, Eziokwu handed over control of the northern region to Ironsi's appointed designee, Hassan Katsina, before being escorted to Lagos by Lieutenant Colonel Conrad Nwanwo, where he surrendered to Ironsi. The coup leaders, except for Ifeajuna, who had fled to Ghana, were placed under arrest. The surviving members of the federal cabinet handed over the reign of government to Ironsi, who suspended several parts of the constitution, banned all political parties, and formed a new military government with Supreme Military Council. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Kindly hit the like button and share with your friends and family. Until next time, cheers and have a good one.